Let's go to Rosa, who is joining us in New York City. Rosa, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
I am living the dream. What's going on with you?
So I recently got fired from my job that I started 2 months ago. And the reason for it was my own stupidity. Within a few weeks of being there, I noticed it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
So in results, I started slacking off at the job.
Mm-hmm.
And it went worse once we started working from home. So, but yeah, now I'm just trying to figure out what to do next and how to go about in searching for new jobs. How do I present? Oh, I was at this job for 2 months and then I got fired.
Yeah. Well, in this day and age, I mean, well, it's not just this day and age, but I mean, people can do research on you, and a good company should, right? And so they should probably call this company and say, hey, what's going on? How stupid was it? Without embarrassing you, and I'm not trying to humiliate you, but I want to get an idea of, you've been very tough on yourself here, and I appreciate that, actually, but we want to move on. But I mean, how stupid, if they call and talk to your former company, what are they going to hear?
I wasn't putting in the hours I should have been. I think the biggest thing was the hours, honestly. They were very strict and rigid on the hours.
Yeah.
And it was a little something that I wasn't used to because my previous company, they were a little more relaxed on it. As long as the work was done, it was fine.
Right. So could you say honestly that you did get the work done? It's just that you came from a different environment where it was more about the performance and not punching the clock, and you had formed those habits and you didn't wake up soon enough. Could you say that?
Yeah, I think it was more when we were physically working in the office, it was more the hours. That was the issue. And then once we started working from home, I stupidly, like I said, I kind of set my own hours for the day when they were expecting us to be online, like from X to Y.
But you still got the job done? Did you still get the job done?
Yeah, most of it. At the end of the last few days, there was like some of it was like done later in the night instead of during the day.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so then here's what you have to do. You have to focus on moving forward. And I get this call a good bit, and so I want everybody to be honest, but at the same time, you don't have to walk in and going, hey, listen, I was really stupid in my last job, right? Because then that puts you in a really ugly situation potentially. What you want to focus on going forward is, excuse me 1 second, I got to get a sip of water. The allergies are awful here, folks. Now the pollen that was coating my car yesterday has now been mixed up by a deluge of rain, and it's a pollen slushy outside, Rosa, so I apologize. My voice just went away on me. Okay, so here's what you have to do. You really got to use your web of connections, and I'm going to give you my best-selling book, The Proximity Principle. Do you have the book?
No.
Okay, I'm going to give it to you. Okay,
Awesome.
And here's the deal. I want you to read the entire book, but there's a chapter in the back section focusing on the practices once you know who the right people are and where the right places are. I'm going to walk you through all of that. There's a chapter on the web of connections, and in this situation, you're going to have to really leverage your web of connections to where you get so emphatically recommended through a mutual relationship. So let's just say company XYZ that you apply for. You do the online application, but you have a friend of a friend of a friend, or there's some relationship. There's some connection between you, Rosa, and somebody in that company XYZ. And as a result, you fill out the application online, but they also take your resume into the hiring manager and say, hey, let me tell you about Rosa and how I know about her. I either know her directly or we have a mutual connection, and Rosa's a rock star. She's coming from a company. It just was not something that she wanted to do. She thought it was, and she realized it's not the work she loves. This company is. This job is in her sweet spot. It's great. She's a rock star, and I think we ought to interview her. When it's done that way, and by the way, Rosa, that's how it should be done for everybody, not just you. But when you do it that way, we are essentially removing most of the risk of them calling and talking to your former employer. And if they do, you're going to say, you know what? Here's the reality. I got the job done, but I did come from a different environment where it was kind of you set your own schedule because we trust you and you do a great job. And I came into this new environment. I was doing the job, but it wasn't something that I loved, and I let that affect me. And that's why I'm here, because I now know that if I'm doing work I love, I'm out. I'm a machine. And I think that's the way you couch it. The job before this last one, did you have good performance measures and good marks?
Yeah, I had been at the other one for 4 years. My superior, he completely trusted me, kind of just gave me the assignment to let me run with it, and never.
Well, let me ask you this. Why do you know what? Why would you even put this last 2-month job even on the resume at this point? I wouldn't even put it on there.
Okay. That was something I was going to ask you too.
Yeah, sometimes I actually give advice and then I realize, hey, I forgot to say this. And this is what, it's like you were there 2 months. And I don't think anybody coming out of this coronavirus is going to be hung up on a 2-month work gap. I just don't think it matters. I would not even put the last thing on your resume. Because you've learned your lesson, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Hey, stay healthy right now. You staying healthy?
Thank you. You too. Yeah.
All right. Listen,
trying to.
Listen, do not be ashamed of what happened. I think you've done a great job of being self-aware. I think you've owned it. And I think you're an awesome person because you've owned it. And I think you've learned your lesson, and I think you move forward. You know what? I could have made that call a lot faster, but you needed to hear the advice on how you're going to get a job. Okay? You needed to hear that. I want you to hang on the line. I'm going to give you my book, The Proximity Principle. It's a #1 best-selling book. It's going to go deeper than what I just did for you, but don't put that last job on the resume. I like that. I like that a lot, Joe. It's kind of fun. I wish we could all do that when we do something that we're not proud of. Just go, you know what? I'm not going to put that on the resume. I'm not going to put that on the resume of life. That's not that easy for all of us. But in her situation, it's a 2-month job. I would just, gone. They don't even know about it. Don't need to know about it. She's going to walk forward. Good stuff.